All right, I did a little poll earlier and people were interested in knowing about the creating of my little box here for crystals. It's a mystery box crystal thingy. I made a listing on Etsy the other day with you guys for that. Now, this part I'm going to talk about like how I went about this. First of all, I've purchased crystals. I purchased a lot of crystals over a period of time there that I was kind of getting crazy and weird about it, and I was just like, "Arr!" And I kept buying them and buying them, and it wasn't intended like to be like that. It just happened. I can't even remember. Oh, I saw like an ad on Facebook one day and it was like, oh, look at these crystals. So I went and looked at those crystals and I was guided by spirit, which again, if you're a spiritual business person, I'm assuming you're going to be guided by spirit. Stop not acknowledging what they're telling you to do and do it, okay? I know that's sometimes easier said than done, but it's like, do what they're guiding you to do. Because when you do and you trust it, it usually will lead you to good places. We're the one that fucks it all up. Of course the dog is drinking right now. 111, okay? Just what happens. It's just part of the fucking process. It's my ritual, okay? But I was on Facebook. I saw a thing. It was like, look at these crystals. So, depending on where you live and things like that, you may want to look into getting crystals. Or maybe you already have crystals. That's totally up to you. You don't have to be like a crazy, like have all these special numbers and stuff to purchase crystals. It just depends on where you purchase them from. There's certain places out there that are available to anybody. Okay, I see them all the time. So research, right? But yeah, I found one of those places that was like, hey, buy some crystals. So I bought some crystals with the idea that I was like, I will take these crystals and then I will put them into like little clusters and sell them on Etsy, because I was already selling other things on Etsy and it wasn't like a huge jump for me at that time. My original reason for signing up to Etsy was because I designed my own decks, I was making my own decks, and I was selling my own decks through the place that I was making the decks. And then I was like, people were like, you should sell them on Etsy, you'll do better. And I was like, all right, I'll do that. So I ended up putting them onto Etsy and they did much better. And then I was like, oh, I can post like my sprays and my candles. And then that did even more better. And I was like, oh, I could put PDF downloads on here. And I did even more better. And then I was like, oh, crystals. I could put some crystals on here. And again, first time I purchased crystals, I only spent like under $50, and then I did what I was guided. I got some quartz, I got some danbarite, I got some like I can't even remember all of them, but it was like a few different kinds, and I was guided to like put them together into little like boop boops, like there's these three together or this one together and boop it up. And then I put the information about them in there and sent them off to people. And like the first ones that I ever sent off to people, I just literally wrote on like post-it notes, messages for them. But that became a crazy whole thing because I ended up having this like spiritual awakening to do with just quartz, specifically quartz. And that was like a 3-month deep dive. And I know everything about quartz 333 and all the ways that it manifests and what it means and like the surfaces of it, the interiors of it, like the shapes of it, all of it means something. So then that became a big thing, and I was like literally sitting here with my little eye loupe looking at crystals in depth, writing down every single detail about them, posting them. And then I was getting into the tantric twins a lot, and it was like every time I would post a crystal it would sell instantly. So I kept buying more crystals because I also got into this other part of it where it was like I really was like having fun, because I would have this one supplier that I got crystals from that it was like I didn't know what I was gonna get. I didn't know. Like I kind of knew what I was gonna get. Like I knew it was gonna be rose quartz, but I didn't know if it was gonna be big pieces of rose quartz or little pieces of rose quartz. And when I ordered quartz, there was a certain batch that they had for a while that was like mix again, and I was like, I wonder, like sometimes it would come and they'd be real dirty, so I would get like a big bucket down there. It's like my cauldron, my plastic cauldron that's actually for Halloween candy. But I got that, and I would fill it up with water in this like powder stuff that we have to get rid of the stains on it, because they would come with like minerals on there, or they'd be really brown instead of clear quartz. So I'd get them and make them beautiful again. And that was like a whole other thing, part of it for me. It was like cleaning them up, you know, like a crystal like this comes and it's all like icky looking and brown. So then I put it in the thing for overnight, and then the next day I scrub it and it comes out looking like this, and it was awesome sauce. And again, I put a lot of time and energy and effort into finding where I was buying crystals, and to then cleaning the crystals and like learning about the crystals. But it evolved over time. You know, you don't have to make it that big of a deal, but I feel like when you're a fucking spiritual person, things become kind of a bigger deal. So I did all of that stuff, right? But now I have a bunch of crystals because I got a little carried away. I was buying pounds at a time. So I get a pound of this and a pound of that and a pound of motherfucking everything. Mind you, I never bought my own crystals, ever. All the crystals that I have, all the big ones that are on my table, if you've ever watched my readings and things, you might have seen them. Those are all gifts. I've never bought crystals for myself. All the crystals that I bought were to sell. And then they just sat here because I got sick. But I went on to Amazon and I started researching boxes that I could get that would be like inexpensive, because of different ideas too. Like I thought about doing like subscription boxes. I've had 1,000,000,001 ideas. That's what I am here for. I'm the idea person. When it comes to like the execution of the ideas, I do all right, but like I got way too many of them for me to be the only man on board making the products and like bringing the ideas to life. But I was gonna do some, like, I have like a whole plan for like a whole entire year of subscription boxes, what I could send out every month for a year, and themes and all of that. But I ended up going on to Amazon and looking and playing around with different ideas, and I didn't want to commit to anything crazy because again, I was burning out at that point. So I ended up buying these boxes that are very, very basic boxes. They're not like, you can get fancy boxes. There's places out there that you can get a fancy ass box with like a design that you design or have someone else design for you, or use the ones that they kind of have already and then put your name in there, and you can use those for like selling crystals or selling anything that you want to sell in a box. But I got these on Amazon. They're very inexpensive. They're easy enough. They're good size because like I didn't want to get huge ones for this purpose of mystery boxes. These are very small, you know, they work. So they come apart, obviously, like this, right? And then you just put them together and you get a little... But for some reason, if I try to do anything exact, it doesn't... No. God damn it. So I have some of these. Little tiny motherfucking boxes. And as I said before, I used to do the 3x5 cards, or not the 3x5 cards. These are postcards. I used to do like fucking post-its, little post-it notes. People were happy with them, but I decided to upgrade. I got these from that place that makes, you know, your cards, Vistaprint. Okay, I got these from Vistaprint. Again, just made a simple design and printed out like 1,000 of them. So I have these, and I give these out with like everybody that purchases something that I physically make, because I don't physically make the decks here. I design the decks. The decks are created by me, but they come from a company far away, so I can't handle the package. But if someone buys a crystal, if someone buys a candle, if someone buys a spray, if somebody buys whatever that I physically handle here, then I usually will include one of these in there that I fill stuff out on the back and talk about whatever it is and say thank you and all of that. And then I also, you know, send these with these, which these fit in here perfectly. So like earlier I made 2 of these, which I will clip some videos in here for you to watch that process. But what I did to make it kind of easier on myself, and this is the magic of AI at this point in our lives, because all of the fucking listings and all of the descriptions and all of the websites and everything that I've built prior to like the last 6 months, I did all of that by myself. Like, yeah, I would use Google to get resources, information, and all of that, but like I have fucking notebooks upon notebooks of me writing things out to keep that information. I bought these books too. These are Russell Brunson, Expert Secrets, .com Secrets, bop-a-da-boo. Alright, but this is back in the day, right? It's copywriting, buying and selling websites, blog content, creative ideas, and then I have one for like every crystal. Every crystal and all the things that go along with the crystals. I physically hand wrote those motherfucking things out. Because this is again before they had all that stuff. And anytime I would make a listing or anytime I would do anything, I would physically do all of that by myself. That's why when I realized that Canva, like when Canva rolled out the AI aspect of stuff and like you could put a prompt in and it would be like, I was like, oh my god, this is life fucking changing. I finally have another me. Because I do so much shit like that takes so much fucking time. That's like, oh my god, this saves so much time. I don't think you should use it in place of everything. I don't think you should let it be like the sole director. And even in the way that you use it, you gotta be smart. Because what I did earlier is I know I have a shitload of crystals here. So what my first prompt into AI 1111 was give me a list of the most common crystals, okay? And it was like, and then I was like, all right. And I knew which ones I had and which ones I didn't have. And so I was like, can you add this one, 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 this one to that list? Okay? And it was like, yeah, sure. And then I was like, all right, still not satisfied. So, could you, because what it did was it gave me the crystal and then like very basic information about the crystal. Like amethyst is a purple quartz and it is nice. You know what I mean? It was very, very basic. So I was like, can you also include the spiritual properties of amethyst? And, you know, of all these crystals. And it was like, of course. And it did it. And then I was like, all right, can you also include all of the like colors and description of these crystals so that the people will know what they fucking look like? And it was like, of course. So took that, copy, pasted, and brought it over to Canva, where I made a document, and I filled in the document, and then I copied that stuff in there, but I still read it and like was like, let me edit this up because some of the things were incorrect. You can't trust AI to be 100% correct on everything, and you shouldn't. And you shouldn't copy and paste exactly what they give to you. It's a great jumping point. It's a great motherfucking time saver. I can't imagine how far in life I would be right now if I had had that ability to do things that, like, seriously, guys. For fucking 15 years, I've been writing everything down by hand and doing it all by myself. Like, hours upon hours of research and, like, going to multiple websites and trying to accumulate things and think things. And it's like, this just helps you so much. Like, there's no motherfucking excuse out there right now for people to be like, I can't. Because you can. You just have to want to. Is basically what it comes down to. And I'm not taking anybody's motherfucking bullshit excuses. So if you want to motherfucking do it, fucking do it. Stop waiting. Stop doing stupid shit. Stop waiting for someone else to hold your hand. Because nobody's coming to hold your hand. Nobody's going to do it for you. But AI can certainly fucking help you. And if you're one of those people that's all freaked out, AI is just, it's here. It's here, okay? If you are an evildoer and you want to destroy the world, then maybe not a good thing for you to have. But if you're a healer and a teacher and a light worker and you want to like get your work done quicker and not have to rely on, you know, thousands of hours of your time being spent doing things that can be sped up by this process, then yeah, that's okay. We still do it with intention and we still do it with our integrity. We don't let it become, because I know there's people out there who are like making things that they didn't touch at all. Like, they're just having AI do the whole motherfucking thing for them, and then they put a price tag on it and they sell it. I do not do that. I will never do that. I have never done that. It wasn't even available for me to do that with any of the things that I've done. Ears ringing. So it's like, I already have the proof of the pudding. Everything that I created, all my PDF downloads, I fucking sat down and wrote those out by hand and then designed them into Canva. I had someone help me with one of them, but for the most part, you know, it's like, I made them. I made it up in my mind. I wrote it up in my mind. And I even, like, said, like, what I wanted to look like on paper when someone else helped me with that. And then when they were done with, like, the rough draft of it, I edited it up to make the finished product of it, but it was like I was very much in the involvement of the creating of it. AI had nothing to do with it. And I haven't really found anything like that anyways. Like my 30-day tarot PDF download is a pretty elaborate thing. I don't think I could be like, hey, yo, AI, blah, 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 and it would be like, blah, 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 blah. But I know I could. That's the thing. You could. But should you? You know, that's the fine line there. And again, it's going to be based off of what you say to AI. Because some people could take that first thing of like, okay, here's the crystals, and see that very basic thing and be like, oh, I'll just do it myself. Or, how about we like prompt it a little bit more, get a little bit more deeper into it, and play with it. That's the only way you're ever going to get good at anything, is fucking trying, learning, failing, succeeding. People are so afraid of failing, they're never going to succeed. Who cares if you make something that nobody buys? Because it means most likely not many people saw it. And even if they do, they don't know that nobody bought it, you know? So don't worry about that shit so much. Because worrying about that shit so much is what's going to make that shit be the reality. When you compare yourself to others, and when you look at things with like that limited energy around it of like, I don't know what I'm doing, you're going to feel like you don't know what you're doing. If you say, I can't do this, you can't do it. And if you get fearful or crazy about shit like that's the devil, then it's going to be the devil in your life, and it's going to hold that power over your energy. But you don't need to let that be the case. Be in your power. Use the things that are available to us with integrity and authenticity, and it'll be all right. But yeah, I'll show you what I did when I went over to Canva, and hopefully this helps you. Alright, so what did I do? I went to ChatGPT, like I said. I did it on my laptop earlier. Make a list of the most common crystals, please. And it was like, oh yeah, here you go. And you see how it's kind of like not cool. Like the one I got earlier, I don't even know what I said exactly, but it was like, I started off with something like this. Can you add more of the spiritual properties of each? Certainly. Why the hell is it saying S102? That's so weird. But you see what I mean? It gives you a little bit more. And then I was like, can you add these ones to the list? Oh, it's even giving you the fucking, what do you call it? Like the element chart information. So yeah, you never know what you're going to get, really. But it's all in the prompting. It's all in the way that you say it, okay? So, and these ones are different from the ones I saw earlier. They didn't give me mica. They didn't give me feldspar. But that's okay. I was like, could you add chrysocolla? Could you add lepidolite? Could you add this? Could you add that? Ba-ba-ba-da-boop. And it was like, yes, sure, certainly. 313-77 across the top there. So, then I took that stuff over to Canva. Boopity 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 boop. I came in here, I made a dock, and then I ended it into there. So, what I did with this too, alright, go back, okay? I made a document, okay? And then I was on the laptop too, but I added this one, which, let me go back again and show you. Let me delete that. So, delete. I hit the plus, and then they have all of these in there. So you could choose that, whatever you want for it to be, okay? I chose that one that we had. And then they have elements and things, so you can add other stuff to it. But I was just keeping it very simple because I was going to have to print it out, and I don't want to make some crazy thing that's like wicked difficult. I'm going to take a bunch of ink and all of that. And then I copied and pasted all of the stuff from here into here. I shrunk it down, I saved it as a PDF, and I did that a couple of times because at first it was like 4 pages of information, and I was like, I don't want to print 4 pages of information for every box that I send out, so let me do some things. So what I did was I was like, I changed the font, I changed the size of the font, you know, I went down to 9, I changed the style of the font, and I even changed this, you know, the line space. So you see that? That makes it so it's really spread out. That makes it so it's really not that spread out. So it's like, oh, okay. So, you know, we'll do this real quick just to get back to where we were. And yeah, that's what I did. And then when I added this, if I double click on that, it does this weird thing. It like opens it up to a special place. Different here. I think it's better to do documents on the laptop for some reason, but as you can see, you can edit it. You can edit all up. I added Divine Essentials, divineessential.com, kept it very simple and basic. And then when you're done editing that, you save it, and then you have your list. And again, I think I saved it like 3 or 4 times in different ways just to see. And then I got it down to 2 pages that I felt comfortable with and that I liked. And then I print these out with the box, and I intuitively choose them. Like one person got a small box, which the other day I made, I think I showed you guys this in the other video, but I made this, and you know, a small box is 10 to 12 crystals, a large box is 18 to 20 crystals. When I made the box, I kept that in mind. Somebody wanted, you know, to focus on abundance. So in her box, I focused on crystals that I know are good for abundance. And then in the other one, I, you know, just filled it up intuitively as I was guided. And then I went and I took this and I checked off each one that's in this list that they got. And if it was something that's not on the list, because that did actually happen, there was a couple that were like, oh, you know what, this person really needs this, but I don't maybe have like 100 of them, so I didn't think about adding it to the list, but I wanted to give it to them anyways. I wrote it on the back of that little postcard, and I made little notes like under here, because for some reason, I don't know why this has that twice, but for some reason with that on the paper, I can write down beneath it too. But you can design it however you want to design it. Very simple, very basic. I think the one that was really heavy, because she bought a bunch of other stuff too, it was like 4 pounds. It only cost me like $8 to ship. And then the other one was like $5 to ship. And it was pretty, you know, it's a good amount of stuff in there, but just so you know, like it doesn't have to be crazy expensive. And they have flat shipping too. I find that when it's a small box, as long as it's not like 25 pounds, it's probably cheaper to ship it in your own little box. That's why I like these, because they're tiny. So when the one that got just the box, right, she didn't get a bunch of extra crystals and stuff, I just put it in here, and the little printout thing that comes out of my little printer fit right on there. It was like, perfect. And then I just taped it so nobody can get into it. And it's awesome sauce. It's awesome sauce. Boom, boom, boom. And I also folded those pieces of paper up and put them inside there, and put one of these inside of there. So it's like all safe, all protected, everything's in there. But yeah, that's how I did it. And these guys I've been organizing. I still have like trays of crystals to organize, but I was like, let me just, you know, keep it simple and use some of the ones that I know are here that, you know, are good to use. There's more under here. This thing goes all the way under there. But yeah. So that's what I did. Hopefully this helps somebody. This is what it looked like on the laptop when I was making it, and made it down to 2 pages where you can see the color guide is on its own page. These are the 2 pages. I checked off which crystals are in the box. Alright, somebody got a large mystery box, and she got one of the Veracruzes. Very pretty Veracruz, and wanted a mystery box with abundance. So I have citrine, rutilated quartz, tiger's eye, ruby, green opal, kababa jasper, quartz to amplify. This is actually a twin quartz, like similar to a twin quartz. It's not perfect, but you know, there's fluorite, there's snowflake obsidian, there's amazonite, there is unakite. This is also unakite, but it's polished. This is petrified wood. Then we have candle quartz. We have the chrysocolla. We have the amethyst. We have danbarite. Yeah, so that's a small box for abundance. And the large box is already closed up, but she's getting other things with it. I oiled them up with protection oil to keep them safe within their travels. That's the big one that's going. That's another big one that's going. That's another special one that's going. And I added some extra specials because this is somebody that's always ordering from me.